Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Oxford University Meeting Minds Global special event on entrepreneurship, hosted and arranged by the Oxford Entrepreneurship Network, for whom I'm very grateful. I'm David Gann, Pro Vice Chancellor for Development and External Affairs, and I'm a Professor of Innovation and Entrepreneurship in the Side Business School. So it's a particular pleasure to be introducing and convening this network and this meeting. Look, we hope you're going to have a lot of fun hearing ideas about some of our successful entrepreneurs. And I hope that you'll find it engaging and something to participate in later, as we just give you a little flavor for the work that is happening in and around us all over the world from our Oxford entrepreneurs. There's a lot happening at Oxford and in the center of things, so to speak, and we're going to hear a little bit about that too. Before we start, I should just let you know that we are recording this event. You are very welcome to participate by sending us your questions in the Q&A menu bar, and please contribute some ideas, and we look forward to hearing from you during the meeting or afterwards. Just to set the scene, Oxford has been with a very bright spotlight on it for the last year during COVID, and one of the reasons why Oxford has been so successful is because of the entrepreneurial spirit that people have shown across our community. More than 50 departments have been involved in fighting the pandemic in one way or another. And of course, we've been highly successful in developing our own vaccine with AstraZeneca and a whole range of approaches to trials, to testing, and to keeping people safe. Perhaps one of the most outstanding pieces of work was the discovery that dexamethasone can save lives for those recovering from the COVID virus. And of course, that has already saved more than 1 million lives around the world. So these things wouldn't happen if people weren't entrepreneurial. Today, I think we're going to focus more on the startup side of entrepreneurship, for which Oxford has an array of support facilities and creates the conditions for entrepreneurs to thrive. And you'll hear a little bit about those through various introductions. Just to say that they cover the whole terrain now at Oxford, as they should do, from Side Business School through to the Humanities Department with Torch, and of course, in areas like biochemistry with the bioescalator and the medical faculty. And so there's a real ferment happening here where I'm sitting in Oxford, as well as with our participants around the world. So I think that sets the scene for what is really a coming together of a thriving community, and one that I shall enjoy listening to and participating with today. And of course, in an ongoing sense, in the work that I do and can help with and lead on here at Oxford. I expect you've seen an agenda for this. If you haven't, I'm not going to read it because it would take me as much time to clear off all the different speakers and as it will to introduce them one to one as they come up. So without further ado, let me put the spotlight on Anna Bakshi, our wonderful leader of the Oxford Foundry. And Anna, please, you have just 4 or 5 minutes to give us an introduction to the Foundry. Thank you.
Thanks, David. It's great to be here with all of you today, so thanks for taking the time out. As David iterated, it's a really exciting time for entrepreneurship at the University of Oxford, and specifically with myself around student and alumni entrepreneurship. And David joining the university is great testament to this in itself. I guess when we're looking at the last year within itself, there's 2 key things that we definitely know. 1, that we need change, and 2, that entrepreneurship is a force for change. And with those 2 principles or systems of belief, the Foundry was set up as a multidisciplinary centre for entrepreneurship by Said Business School, but also a network of incredibly brilliant world-leading entrepreneurs, including Reid Hoffman of LinkedIn. And our focus is really on building a new generation of ventures and leaders across all 4 divisions and 38 colleges at the university, but also our alumni community who we love so much. We do this through 3 key areas. One's entrepreneurship, so entrepreneurial skills and training alongside technology-based skills and training. And that's done through leading the university's biggest inter-college idea competition, masterclasses, workshops, but also excitingly, and I'm really happy to be able to share this with yourselves today, we'll be launching an entrepreneurship learning platform, so the Oxford Entrepreneurship School, towards the end of this year, and it will be phased out for alumni to engage with over the course of the next 24 months. It's a curation of content by world-leading practitioners, from seasoned entrepreneurs to VCs to ex-army generals and sports leaders. And we can't wait to share it with you, because it's going to be everything from future-proofing your career, no matter when you graduated, all the way to supporting you build a venture and scale a venture. Secondly, we're all about venture acceleration. So we have our own accelerator program called Oxford Elevate. In our 3rd year now, and the 32 ventures we've supported so far have gone on to be valued in excess of 150 million, and they've created over 150 jobs. Why Elevate's really exciting is over 80% of our businesses that we take on are led by alumni, so people that graduated 5 or 10 or 15 years on. And the impact that engaging with the alumni community has had is absolutely clear over there. And then finally, democratizing access to entrepreneurship. I'd say this is a key principle that we live and breathe daily, and it's very much so to ensure that entrepreneurial endeavor and entrepreneurial opportunity is as inclusive and equitable as possible. And beyond our formal governance structures, we do that through some pretty exciting ways. So we have our own mini Davos roundtable. So we've got a student advisory board of 38 society presidents, and that's bringing together the president of the Climate Change Society with African Caribbean Society, with the AI Society. So you've got this ridiculously diverse group of students from across all disciplines, co-creating, collaborating and influencing what our entrepreneurial training programs look like. In addition to that, we're launching entrepreneurial training placements for students from underrepresented backgrounds, launching our first Pan-African partnership, amongst much else. I think the most exciting thing I can share with you is that we're really starting to see the circular nature when we're thinking about value of creating centers such as the Foundry, where on one hand, we're upskilling entrepreneurial talent, and on the other hand, the ventures that we're accelerating are actually employing this talent. So students going on to recent graduates are being employed by alumni, and by turn, those said alumni ventures are also feeding into the mentoring loop that way. And that's expanding, and obviously the same when it comes to investment and many, many other layers. I know I've only got a short amount of time, so just more on, if you want to learn more about the Foundry, obviously check out our website. We're always looking for alumni to engage by way of mentors, but also alumni that might be interested in accessing the Foundry support. And also we'd love to welcome you to our beautiful innovation space when the time permits. Just to conclude, in addition to the Foundry, there are so many incredible initiatives happening throughout the university. So I know you'll hear from my colleague Maria, who works on Said Business School's MBA focused on Entrepreneurship Centre, but we've got the Skull Centre for Social Entrepreneurship, Enterprising Oxford, which supports entrepreneurs across the whole of Oxfordshire. We've got Creative Destruction Lab, in addition to Bio Escalator and many, many other exciting initiatives. I'll just end with saying the university is at a point where on the student and alumni side, magic's really happening, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger as we continue to nurture inherently good people to do inherently good things. And we really hope you'll join and engage on the ride. Back to you, David.
Thank you, Anna. That's so exciting to hear. And you just get a little bit of a flavour of what you can find when you come back into Oxford, or engage with us online. Of course, you don't need to be here to participate in this. So Maria, let's hear a little bit more about what you're leading inside Business School, because it's just as important that we offer an education into our MBA cohort and more widely, so that people really grow the skills themselves to be entrepreneurs. So over to you, Maria. Thank you.
Well, thank you, David. Good afternoon, morning, everyone. Dearest alumni, hi, Neil, hi, Anna, lovely to see you and to be here with you. Thank you so much for having me and for all your time in actually listen to everything that I'm gonna summarize in almost 5 minutes. I'll do my best. Well, as David said, Oxford is an amazing and vibrant ecosystem, and I would like to highlight that you are all part of it. Today, I wanted to share briefly what the Entrepreneurship Center does, and then focus on some initiatives that might be of interest to you. At the EC, we equip our students with the skills and mindset that are needed in the modern innovation economy. How do we do that? We do that by using experiential learning, but of course, local and global networks and thought leadership. The initiatives of the center are designed to support and enhance the journey of students and alumni throughout their time at Oxford Said and beyond. We support the SBS community in pursuing their entrepreneurial and innovation ambitions. And I will share some key initiatives that could be useful for your entrepreneurial journeys. The first one I wanted to highlight is the Entrepreneurship Project, the EP, which is an integral part of the Oxford MBA and MBA program, what challenges participants to work in teams, develop a full business plan, and present it to a panel of investors and practitioners. We have roughly around 330 MBA students, roughly 65 groups, and around 140 MBAs, and all of them are working on their entrepreneurship project for around 4 months. So from the AC, we provide access to business ideas, we do preparatory workshops, we bring guest speakers, panelists, clinics, we run one-to-one advisory sessions and tutoring. So why am I sharing this with you today? Because at the beginning of the program, as there are students who don't have an idea to focus on, we run a networking event with a pitching session where alumni and other university students are of course invited to come and pitch and share the project scope, so that hopefully a group of students select them for their EP and contribute to moving that idea forward through their EP, as they bring relevant business background that can be really useful at that early stage. Well, secondly, I wanted to share the O Network, which is a curated group of highly experienced entrepreneurs and business leaders who give their time pro bono to support our student community and alumni. I encourage you to look at the website and watch the video and look at their profiles. They support all SBS students and alumni in pursuing their entrepreneurial ambitions. We have 55 experts who have provided last year around 320 hours of support, and they come from 13 different countries and 14 different industries. Thirdly, the Oxford Seed Fund, which is a select international team of entrepreneurs, investors, and industry specialists who invest up to 50K on the top Oxford affiliated startups and provide them with the network and support they need to scale. So it's a student-led initiative with a team of 11 MBAs that actually run the fund and make the final decision where to invest. They evaluate around 150 potential deals per year. They do the due diligence, and then finally they make the decision. If you are looking for funding and are affiliated to Oxford, as you are welcome to apply. And last but not least, we have OCEF, the Oxford Said Entrepreneurship Forum, the school's flagship event, which is a one-day conference held annually at Oxford Said to promote entrepreneurship and innovation. So we bring at OCEF notable entrepreneurs, industry practitioners, and we run keynote speakers, but also panel discussions. Keynote speakers are pioneers in the field, and they share their entrepreneurial journeys, which are inspirational. And also we run panel discussions that take a deeper dive into specific topics, allowing for more engaging conversation and discussion. And finally, we run a pitch competition that showcases ventures from across the Oxford ecosystem. So you can, of course, attend the event, but also you are very welcome to apply to be shortlisted for the pitching competition in front of investors. And these are the key highlights I wanted to share with you today, as we don't have a lot of time, but I'm very happy to take any question that you might have later on, and very happy to engage with you individually. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Maria. That's lovely. It gives you a little sense of the capabilities and the activities that are happening inside business school, and then making that more available widely. And of course, the two essential ingredients here for us all starts off with people and the capabilities. And we're blessed at Oxford with a flow of wonderful students and people who can take ideas forward. And secondly, it depends upon ideas themselves, people having good ideas. And we can really make a lot happen with those, but we need the networks. And I want to hand over now to Jed to tell us a little bit more about the Oxford Entrepreneurship Network, which has been formed recently and is really burgeoning and bringing a lot of people together. And if we can connect all of these dots, we'll have a real powerhouse. So over to you, Jed.
Thank you, David. Oxford Entrepreneurs Network, or OEN, was created to build a thriving global community of Oxford entrepreneurs. We currently have 2,500 members and are an Oxford Alumni Office approved organization. We'll start our presentation with a short film on OEN.
It all begins with ideas. Since 1231, the University of Oxford has been a center of education, leadership, and excellence. It has also been a place of turning ideas into innovations and creating new realities. It was one entrepreneur in particular whose thought of building an Oxonian support network led to the creation of the Oxford Entrepreneurs Network.
When I left my corporate career to start this company, I sought out an entrepreneurial network, but I couldn't find one. However, I did connect with a few like-minded Oxonians, and together we had this idea of creating a network of entrepreneurs in the Bay Area from Oxford, and that became OE of the Bay. Then through the drive of a number of incredible volunteer members, that organization grew into what is now known as the Oxford Entrepreneurs Network.
We started as a financial aid application platform that's now used by 1 in 10 college-bound students in the US. The Oxford Entrepreneurs Network has been hugely supportive and helpful to us, whether it's been through our marketing strategy and advising us there on PR, whether it's been helping us hire designers, or indeed actually reviewing the first financial model that I ever built.
I'm very grateful to the Oxford Entrepreneurs Network for their support, energy, and the community they have built. It's a wonderful group. I started Monster Education at the height of the pandemic. I wanted my 2 kids and other children to get a personalized, flexible, and a dynamic education. Today, Monster Education offers personalized enrichment classes for grades K through 5.
We are the world's largest marketplace connecting brands to professional athletes for marketing campaigns. In terms of the Oxford Entrepreneurs Network, I actually joined when I moved to San Francisco in 2016, when the Oxford Angel Fund invested in us. It was an amazing name to have on your cap table. But beyond that, the Angel Network includes lawyers, marketing professionals, it includes accountants, finance people. So having access to that skill set as a friendly investor has been absolutely key to our journey.
Whip Venture Studio has 9 Oxonians, subject matter leaders, who assist startups with growth. What is it about my Oxford experience that contributed to my startup? The tutorial system. Researching the paper for the weekly tutorial makes you a self-starter for sure.
Actually, a family engagement platform, basically a CRM for schools and beyond. And we aim to be the ultimate destinations where families and educators engage, starting in schools, but then extending to youth sports, after-school programs, summer camp, etc.
As an entrepreneur, I felt like there was a lot of money being left on the table by not taking women seriously. And so that was really the impetus behind starting Pomp and Whimsy. Fundraising is an exercise in extreme networking and extreme persistence. Know where that next connection comes from that can result in a check.
C-Note really was born out of the desire to use financial innovation as a tool for positive social change. I had, a background actually in social entrepreneurship. And in fact, that's why I ended up at Oxford, is because of the deep roots at the Scholl Center and the ability to attract social entrepreneurship and social venture wisdom from around the world.
It all began with one idea, and now the Oxford Entrepreneurs Network is building a thriving global community. This network proudly continues the Oxford tradition of excellence in leadership and supports Oxonian founders building innovative and responsible ventures. Join us as we connect ideas, entrepreneurs, mentors, and investors around the world.
Thank you. OxEN supports Oxonian starting and growing businesses. On the flip side, we support Oxonian early stage investors as well. We support other Oxonians in the startup ecosystem. We tap into the expertise, creativity, and networks of Oxford alums to support our members. Our seasoned entrepreneurs and our subject matter experts mentor other members and introduce them to investors. We give Oxonians a speaking platform to gain visibility. Our members team up on business ventures or hire each other. We provide substantive workshops on skills important for growing early stage businesses and investing in early stage businesses. We provide a warm, supportive environment for founders to practice their investor pitches and get high quality feedback. We have a network of Oxonian VCs and angel investors to assist our founders. The reason OxEN is such a success is we all share a bond. For many of us in OxEN, our Oxford experience has had a deep impact on our character and worldview. Personally, I've found that Oxonians tend to be on similar wavelengths and very generous with fellow alumni. OxEN as an organization has some traits of a successful startup. We started with one chapter in the San Francisco Bay Area in 2014. We had 200 members when we decided to expand beyond the Bay in 2018. By 2019, our membership grew fivefold. By 2021, we'd grown to 2,500 members and 6 chapters. We have a 20-person national executive board. We have a formal mentorship program pairing entrepreneurs and more seasoned entrepreneurs or investors and others. And we have 100 active pairings. We have a process for entrepreneurs to request support from seasoned members. Our chapters cross-fertilize. Our chapters do joint events and our members attend events in other chapters. We occasionally get rabble from Cambridge crashing our events. It's an outrage, but it's also flattering for us in OxEN. As you'll see in a moment, each chapter has its own personality. I would like to introduce Ben Redden, Pembroke College, MBA from our DC chapter.
Thanks, Jen. Now, I know folks might not necessarily associate Washington, DC with entrepreneurship, but we actually have quite a vibrant startup community in the city. We established the OxEN chapter in 2019, soon after OxEN began expanding beyond the Bay Area. We hosted live in-person events before, of course, starting to move online. One of these was the business planning workshop. This was a live, in-person, full-day event in February 2020 before we went back online. We hosted 20 participants. These were all aspiring entrepreneurs. Some traveled as far as from New York and Boston to attend. And we also had 4 facilitators help with the event. They added their expertise and guidance to the day. Photos here on the screen are from the day, and all the participants were Oxford graduates. Now, during the day, the facilitators worked through modules and frameworks with the participants. We touched on topics such as steps in the entrepreneurship journey, an introduction to iterative design practices, elevator pitch crafting, and startup funding options. The day culminated in a pitch presentation where all participants gained practice in presenting their idea in front of the live audience. This event is an example of OxEN and how it supports and grows entrepreneurship. Mike Ratcliffe will now speak, and he studied physics at Christchurch.
Hi, everybody. Thanks a lot, Ben. I'm Mike Ratcliffe, and I'm one of the leaders of the New England chapter. We also started in 2019 and managed to get in around half a dozen in-person meetings before the pandemic hit. And we got around 20 to 30 members coming to each event. And we had some great locations in and around the center of Boston, thanks to some very, very, very kind members who lent their offices. Now, our chapter members are nearly all from Boston, but we've got people from New Hampshire, from Vermont, and even Rhode Island. The massive concentration of pharmaceuticals, biotechs, and robotics in and around Cambridge, and by the way, that's Cambridge, Massachusetts, not the UK, we've become a hub in OxEN for the healthcare market, whether it's drug development, digital monitoring of patients, or analyzing big healthcare data. Most of our meetings are focused on startups in healthcare, and we're also very active in terms of mentoring healthcare startups. We help entrepreneurs better understand the complexities of the US healthcare market and link entrepreneurs and experts together. I personally have had some considerable number of great sessions talking to entrepreneurs about their ideas in the healthcare market. And these have varied from portable instant COVID tests for use at airports, robots to help the elderly living at home, and the use of AI to go and change individuals' behaviors to drive better medication adherence. So if you want to talk entrepreneurship and you want to go and talk about healthcare, always feel free to contact me because we never close. Now, let me pass you over to Christine in New York, who went to Kellogg College to go and get her MBA.
Thank you, Mike. And here in New York, we actually started our chapter in January of 2020, right before the pandemic shutdown, and we managed to have a single live event. And then when the shutdown happened, we quickly pivot as an organization because we want to continue to engage all of our members from around the world, and especially those that do not live near an existing chapter. So we developed a series of online startup boot camps and industry overviews where we provide substantive skills and industry training from top experts from around the world. And the majority of our speakers are actually Oxonian alumni teaching fellow Oxonians who are interested in starting their ventures. So we have bi-monthly live virtual seminars, and we record all of them and host them on our Mighty Network platform so that they can be accessed at any time. And we also give an effective stage and visibility to Oxonians in our startup ecosystem who want to come and network and speak with other Oxonians entrepreneurs. And each of our events have over 100 plus participants across different continents. And we also host pitch sessions with startup founders, allowing Oxonians who are interested in pursuing their business idea to come and meet with the network, get feedback, and also get advice as they pursue their ventures. And here are some of the, you saw on the slide before, some examples. And also we have an online community where we connect and engage with Oxonians globally. Right now we have 1,200 online community members around the world in all different industries and specialties, and there are entrepreneurs, mentors, and investors. So feel free to please join our LinkedIn group and also Mighty Networks and come and network with us. And now let me turn it over to Neil Wolf from Lincoln College, who studied management studies, to talk a little bit about the Oxford Angel Fund.
Thank you, Christine. I'm joining in from the San Francisco Bay Area where OxEN got its start. Oxford Angel Fund raises capital from Oxford alumni, and we invest in startups founded by Oxford alumni and faculty that are operating their businesses in North America. It's important to emphasize that the fund exists alongside Oxford Entrepreneurs Network. OEN is approved by the alumni office. The fund was established by a group of us who felt that our fabulous entrepreneurs should have access to capital in addition to the advice, mentorship, et cetera, that you've heard about. The fund's managed by 4 Oxford alumni. All of us have experience in the venture capital, private equity, and startup worlds. We have 4 unique advantages. First is our relationship with OEN, because it's a great source of startups deal flow in the venture capital industry. Second, unlike most venture capital funds, all of our investors get the opportunity to hear pitches, tell us what they think about the companies, perform some diligence, and help, most importantly, help the companies grow. Third, we have relationships with all the fabulous organizations back up at Oxford, about which you heard earlier, that do such a fabulous job supporting startups. And fourth, we have a singular focus on Oxford founders. We'll invest in any industry or business model, but we want a brilliant and driven founder. Now, the first Oxford Angel Fund is performing excellently. We made 16 investments, we've sold 1 company, and 12 of the companies are just thriving. Venture capital funds, and I'm proud to say the Oxford Seed Fund, have invested alongside or after us. And while we didn't set out with this as one of our goals, we're actually very proud that half the companies in which we've invested were founded by women, and half of them have a social impact in addition to a profit motive. Oxford Angel Fund 2 started operating this past October. We've heard a lot of pitches. We've made 3 investments. We already have about 50 investors, and we're closing in on our fundraising goal, but we are still accepting subscriptions from new investors in the fund. We want to hear from you if you're a startup founder in the United States and North America looking for capital, or if you want to invest in a diversified portfolio of companies founded by some of the smartest people on the planet, Oxonian entrepreneurs. And now back to you, Jed.
Thank you. So this slide lists the many reasons to contact us. We welcome you to join OEN, whether you're a founder, investor, service provider, startup employee, industry expert, or just fascinated by the startup world. I'll be cliche and say that for me, the best part of participating in OEN is meeting tons of new people and making tons of new friends. It's cliche, but that's what happens. So I invite you to join us and look forward to seeing all of you participate in our future events. We now return to David.
Thank you, Jed, and thank you, colleagues. Very nice to hear and to see what you're doing there. And of course, that you've really put the spotlight on the network. Now it's time to welcome our panelists, and we have Ishveen Anand. Please turn on your camera. Lucas Lange, Charlie Maynard, and Melissa Pancoast. And perhaps you just say hello, each of you, and a couple of words each about what you've done and who you are. And then we're going to open up a panel discussion and have some questions and answers from our colleagues in the network. So let's start with Ishveen. Ishveen, where are you?
Yeah. Hey, David. Thank you so much for having me here. Ishveen Anand, I'm CEO and co-founder of Open Sponsorship. We are the world's largest marketplace connecting brands to athletes for marketing deals. And the business was born out of my prior experience being a sports agent, which I kind of fell into after graduating from Oxford as an undergrad in economics and management back in 2006.
Thank you, Ishveen. Lucas?
Thanks, David. Hi, my name is Lucas. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Probably Genetic. Probably Genetic is a healthcare company funded by Y Combinator, Khosla Ventures, and others. We help drug developers find undiagnosed rare genetic disease patients. We do this by deploying symptom checkers online and then testing patients with remote genetic testing. and we sign up thousands of people within a couple of days. The company was born out of my PhD research at Oxford on a Rhodes Scholarship in genetics.
That's great, Lucas. And then Charlie.
Yeah, hi there, everyone. My name's Charlie Maynard. I studied economics and management for my undergrad at Exeter College from 2006 to 2009. And I'm CEO and co-founder of Going Merry, which is a financial aid platform used by 1 in 10 college-bound students in the US. And these students answer 10 questions, and we then apply them to government grants, college aid, and private scholarships. And what's exciting for us for this year is that we'll be launching a bank in Q4, which will then enable students not just to manage all of their financial aid in one place, but all of their finances.
Oh, that sounds fascinating and very useful. Thank you. And then Melissa.
Thank you so much, David. Hi, everyone. My name is Melissa Pankos. I'm the founder and CEO of The Beans. The Beans is a financial care company. We automate financial planning and support for hardworking teachers, healthcare workers, government employees, and nonprofit employees in the States. We're happily backed by the Oxford Angel Fund, and very happy to be here today.
And Melissa, maybe I'll just start with a quick question to you, Melissa. I mean, you carried out research at Oxford, didn't you, in some areas that I think helped trigger the idea for the Beans company. Just give us a very brief flavor for how that idea percolated while you were studying.
Yeah, absolutely. So I studied with Dr. Lucy Kluver in the Department of Social Policy and Intervention, and worked on a team that was focused on reducing stress for families. I advocated for the addition of a financial stress element in the program, and got enormous support from Lucy and the team. And we added in a component to an existing program that focused on financial stress. What's really exciting is that that component is proven to work. It's the first thing proven to reduce financial stress. It's also a key driver of the reduction of stress for the whole intervention, and the most loved component of the whole intervention. So I know these are, I'm a little in the weeds there, but this program is now part of the global emergency response to COVID-19. It's been rolled out to 77 million families worldwide by the UN, WHO, and the CDC. And from it, we take our inspiration. And so the Beans, our name comes from, is inspired by this intervention, as well as the really unusual visuals and novel visuals that are in the product. So these all come from the intervention, and what we determined was a really easy way to help individuals grapple with their finances when they're really stressed out.
Yeah, so you have social purpose as well as an entrepreneurial passion in what you've done. If I turn to Charlie, you've went on from your undergraduate degree and attended Stanford Business School, and you've worked in Asia, but you've set up your business with a US focus. I wonder, you studied, I think, economics and management. Did you, during your earlier studies with us at Oxford, think that you were going to be an entrepreneur? What did you learn that triggered this, or did it happen later on?
Yeah, I think kind of coming back to my Oxford days, there was probably like two main things that I learned. And the first was how to consider facts and analyze problems. You mentioned I studied economics and management, which meant that those facts and problems happen to be economic ones, but the process overall was this general framework of how to process information. And secondly, Oxford taught me then how to present my view and think on my feet if challenged. And my mediocre essays were pretty frequently challenged in tutorials. And I think it was the intensity of that like tutorial system that is unique to Oxford, and certainly more strenuous than anything I faced at Stanford, though granted that was on an MBA program and so somewhat different. And so it was, coming to your question about what then enabled me to be an entrepreneur, it was that combination that gave me an inherent process to analyze any problem, no matter what the subject, and equally importantly, the belief that I could do so successfully.
Yeah, and I think Jed also commented, I think it was Jed earlier on, that the tutorial system at Oxford was really helpful in schooling you to think and to respond. And of course, that as an entrepreneur, that's what you need to do. And this whole notion of pivoting is to be able to see things changing in front of you and then be prepared to think differently and to answer new questions as you're faced with them. That's great. You also mentioned that there's a younger, a startup university somewhere east of London that is a bit younger than this great place that also has tutorial systems. And I know, Lucas, your co-founder of Probably Genetic, I think, studied there. I'm talking, of course, about Cambridge. We don't normally talk much about Cambridge, but let's talk about Probably Genetic. Tell us how at Oxford you got connected actually to your co-founder. What happened there?
I hate to burst your bubble, but we actually met at Cambridge. I got my MPhil at Cambridge before I went to Oxford. So both of us were in Pembroke College, Cambridge. So the connection piece happened in Cambridge. And we became fast friends and decided we eventually wanted to found a company together. And then to have a place to be able to work on the company, both went to Oxford. I applied for a Rhodes Scholarship, won that, and went over for a graduate school. And my co-founder, Harley, won a fellowship at Brasenose College, specifically in astrophysics. So what Oxford provided us was not the initial spark of connection, but what it did give us is really a playground to have a few years of unapologetic space to work on different ideas. And eventually, through my research in rare genetic diseases, we met a whole lot of patients who struggle with these diseases. There's about 400 million of them on the planet, which is roughly 4 times as many as cancer patients. And about half of them are undiagnosed. And these undiagnosed patients, they're not, they don't have gluten intolerances. They are, kids that are going blind, have neurodegeneration, seizures, autism, and cardiovascular disease all at the same time. And they are 7 or 8 years of being undiagnosed whilst being severely ill is a horrible time for families. And so we decided to found the company to solve that problem.
Yeah,
so
that sounds,
but yeah.
That sounds, and it's a very significant problem that you're tackling. Yeah, without wishing to continue being disparaging about Cambridge, of course, we collaborate hugely, not just with Cambridge, but with other great universities, including the one I've just finished working at, Imperial. And I think one of the strengths of the network that we're participating in today is its ability to plug in to the other great playing universities, particularly in the UK, but as well as around the rest of the world. Look, the question that you're working on at Probably Genetic is going to be very profound, I think, for the world as we understand what needs to be done with interventions for people with rare diseases. And at the moment, the business models and operating processes of big pharmaceutical companies seemingly just cannot find a way of tackling that. So good luck with that. Let me turn finally to Ishveen. I haven't asked you a question, I don't think, have I? So what is it about your Oxford education that, and you studied economics and management as well, I believe, that helped you think about starting up a venture?
Yeah, thank you, David. I'd say I echo a lot of what Charlie says in terms of the rigor of thought, and what you said also, where I believe Oxford challenges you to think differently. I remember we had an accounting essay and it was all around, is profit real? How do you think about things like that? Which is very different to, I'd say, a lot of my friends at other universities and how they were thinking about studying accounting. And so, as an entrepreneur, we're always thinking about a different way to do things, challenge the norms, and that's definitely what Oxford did for us.
Great. Well, look, thank you for sharing your insights. I mean, these are stories that really help people understand the entrepreneurial journey that in different ways you've all taken. I mean, the one thread, I don't know whether this was chosen deliberately, but the one thread I'm reading through this is the passion for what entrepreneurs do, which is breaking new ground and taking risk, coupled with a desire to deliver something of social purpose and value. And I think that's significant these days, more and more so. You know, people want to make a difference. It's great to make money, and so we should. But making money and making a difference is a fantastic combination. And I hope actually that you four in your different entities all succeed and can become beacons for us at Oxford, because, you know, there's nothing better than successful stories to hold up there. And as we really propel this network of Oxford entrepreneurs forward, we need to gather these stories and keep our eye and spotlight on them. So good luck with that. I'm going to open up to conversations more widely, and questions and answers. And I don't know whether people want to signal through to me through the chat, whether you have any questions. We've got one from Peter Martin Gomez about funding startups. And I think that might be best placed to Neil to answer, actually. You know, we have already seen the formation of a fund. And there's a question here about how widely might you be interested in looking at ventures to fund, whether in Southeast Asia, and question here about the Philippines, and what stage of funding are you looking at? So Neil, just perhaps give us a little bit more detail about where your funds are being deployed and what that might mean for others in the network.
So Oxford Angel Fund 2 invests in companies not that are incorporated in the United States, but that are doing business in the United States. So if you took your example and flipped it, that you were a Philippines corporation, but your business is in the United States, then we would be able to invest. And we have several people, several Oxonian entrepreneurs who have pitched us, who have started what they're doing in the UK. They're expanding to the United States. We're limiting the investments we make to businesses that are in the United States because the fund wants to facilitate what Oxford Entrepreneurs Network is doing in providing capital, in providing mentoring and all the different areas of support that entrepreneurs need in a market that we actually understand. We have, but be patient. There are, at some point in the future, several years out, is Oxford Angel Fund 3, which we hope will invest internationally. But for now, a business that's focused on doing business outside the United States, that's not the right business for us. But we do have lots of Oxonians who are connecting to the network who might have expertise in and a desire to invest in your company. So come and pitch at one of the OEN events.
Well, that's a good response, Neil. And you know, in my background, I'm a board member of VenCap, one of the oldest fund of funds. And, you know, we invest around the world from VenCap. But to do so, we have to have a lot of understanding of the regulatory approvals processes and so on. And so setting up an angel investment activity at the get-go, and then moving between jurisdictions takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. So, you know, I can completely understand why at the moment your focus remains in the US. But look, we have a wide range in our network, and you know, I've already met some of you who live and work in Switzerland, and understand from talking with you that there's a great interest in funding new ventures within our network there. And I'm sure as we cohere, we can share advice and share lessons as to how we can help others support each other through funding. I'm just going to have a quick scan of questions which are now starting to flow in. Rama Viragu says, hi, I read jurisprudence at Oxford and got tremendous help from the Oxford Network, Oxford Angel Fund and the Oxford Seed Fund invested in your company. Can you share your anecdotes at Oxford network of how the Oxford Network helped others? So I don't know whether anyone else wants to comment on how the network has helped other companies. Any of the panelists, have you been involved? I'll give you time to just signal to me if you want to make a comment on that. Let me just see if I can find another couple of questions. What's the best way of finding a co-founder? I'll come back to you in a minute, Melissa. I'm just going to read this question out as well so someone can think about an answer. What's the best way of finding a co-founder for an alumni entrepreneur? Would it be via the OxEN? What are the channels specifically for that? So perhaps someone can come back to me an answer on the co-founder thing. And meanwhile, Melissa, do you want to just comment on the previous question?
Yeah, I can get us started. And I want to say hi, Rama. I'm so excited to know that you're on this morning. So hello, wherever in the world you are. We've had an incredible amount of support from the Entrepreneurs Network, and it's come in all the forms that you need to get a company off the ground. And so primarily that's the social support, the friendship, and the ability to run ideas by people who are enormously capable. The network required to raise the capital that you need to get your company off the ground. And really and truly, it's in the day-to-day ability to ask questions of people. For example, I have the opportunity to sit down with the person who wrote the recommendation algorithm for Netflix on a casual Wednesday morning for a few hours. And that is remarkable exposure that has really helped our company move more quickly. I'll add one more thing to that, which is that there is a huge amount of non-dilutive funding available through government bodies, and professors that I've worked with at the university, Dr. Lucy Kluver in particular, has helped me to apply for non-dilutive capital as well.
Oh, thanks, Melissa. I mean, I should say that having joined Oxford from Imperial College has a pretty awesome network and a pretty good reputation for its innovation and entrepreneurship. But I'm really struck by just how well connected all of us are at Oxford. You can reach almost anybody you need to reach from Oxford. So now that's a real booster for anyone being involved in entrepreneurship. And it's one of the points of failure taken out of the equation, so to speak, because very often when you're starting off, it is the rubbing shoulders with the right people who can point you in the right direction, give you access to conversations over funding or help open up a market. And that's why it's so important that we do help each other. And remember, sometimes when you were starting off, someone helped you and put a bit of that time back into the network for someone else. It's really important we do that, because that raises all the ships. We're over a period of time, we'll all be better off if we put a little bit of effort back into each other's ventures here. That's what this network's for. There's a question here, which I think is probably for Maria. It's about the pitch deadline at Side Business School. Maria, are you still, I can't quite see all the people.
Yes, I'm here, David.
Yeah, Maria,
yes.
Tell us when the deadline is.
Yes, I'm actually answered 3 questions, all at once.
Go on.
So for the AP pitch, yes, so this happens every year, and actually around February, March, so around a month ago, it just happened this year's EP, but every year is happening again. So next February, we will have a new pitching. A quick answer on well, I'm glad that Rama, you got some investment from Oxford Seed Fund. Just to quickly say that always having one of the stories that I hear the most from investees from our portfolio, they say, oh, the investment from the Oxford Seed Fund opened so many doors, so many different doors to other investments. And of course, there are co-investments with, the angel fund also happening. So that's a great opportunity for you. And there was another question related with,
Maria, the questions have been flicking up on the screen so fast I've almost not been able to read them all. So you've done well to capture a couple of. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I was trying to find it, but I can't now.
Okay, well, maybe come back. We've only got a few minutes left, actually. And I should say, thank you, Maria. There's a specific question to Lucas about your work on investigating dietary interventions. And Lucas, I think because of the nature of the question, which is specific to pediatric work and the type of developments that you're making, that perhaps we can take that question directly through to you, not least because I can't see who has asked it on my screen at the moment, and I think that would be a longer conversation. So just to say, this is exactly what we want to see. We want to see people connecting with some specifics as well as the generality of what we can learn. So I think we've come almost to the top of the hour, and we are at a point now where we're not going to have time to indulge in any other questions. And I think perhaps I should draw us to a close. And I think there are so many thank yous to give here that it would be difficult to do and not miss someone out. But let me pinpoint a few people, our wonderful panel here who have just shared their stories. My colleagues who are running the centres at Oxford, Anna and Maria, and they've only just highlighted their own and pointed us to some more. And I suggest, Neil and others, that we indulge in some more networking events like this, and perhaps bring in one or two of the directors of the other entrepreneurship activities at the university. And I'm quite happy to help broker that if needs be. Thank you, Jed, for making the introduction to the network and to the video, and to our colleagues who spoke and who were highlighted through the video. So I think please feel free to connect and to make this really a community that engages, because it's a community which can have real purpose. We can learn from each other, we can support each other. People like Neil have boundless energy and enthusiasm, and as a connector has managed to find the time to, with colleagues, put this up and get it running. And we now need to see it running in different parts of the world, and we'll have a real super connector. This will take out LinkedIn, because there'll be so much purpose in the Oxford Entrepreneurs Network. There won't be any pointing going on LinkedIn. You'll be in the Oxford Super Connector. And this will be the place to come and talk about entrepreneurship in the years ahead. So with that, and I feel very positive about what we're going to see happening here, I'd like to say thank you. I've really enjoyed hearing all of the great things you're doing, and you'll receive support certainly from me. And I look forward to hearing of great successes in the future. Thank you, all of you.